I think hiking. Let's keep on trucking. Yeah.
We missed that call. We missed that statement by you. Come on.
All right. So today's shir also has been a donation in memory of Gershona Rezel Bas Chaim, the Neshama Shetali on the 8th yard site, donated by one of our members. So we left off.
Whose website is that?
I'm sorry.
Whose website is that?
That is my first. It is my first cousin's.
Randy's cousin. So Neshama Shetali.
Amen. Neshama Shetali.
I assume each person's getting a l'chaim dropped off by their house.
Yeah, I'll drop it off when I'm back in town.
Perfect.
All right, we today is Daf Kuf Mem Zayin. We got ahead a little bit, so we didn't really fall behind. So we got to the mission on the bottom of Kuf Mem Vav Amud Beis. On the bottom, maybe 10 lines from the bottom mission there says, "Noisnin tavshil habur b'shvil sheyu shamur." A person allows to go ahead and put a already cooked tavshil into a pit. In order that it should be, even with, let's say there's no water there, in order that it should be protected, should be guarded. Well, the Gemara will ask, Shita seems pretty obvious. You're not cooking it. You're not doing anything. What would be the problem with it? Vesamayim hayafim. Also, this leads into the next halacha. Vesamayim hayafim barayim. You're allowed to go ahead and take water, right? Good water, and put it in bad water. Let's say it's in a container, right? And you put in the other water. Let's say this water is warm, and the other water, the bad water, is cold, but it's yucky or gross, and you put in some sort of container to chill it off. You can do that. In order that it should cool off. In cold water, you can put it in hot water that's basically sitting in the sun, heated up from the sun. You can put it in there, in order that it should warm up and take the chill out of that water. And but my person, let's say, is walking and his clothes get soaked. Let's say either they fell in water, he got soaked. He can still walk with them. We're not concerned that he'll squeeze them out or take them off. We're not concerned. However, once he gets to an area, to a chatzer, go ahead and you can take off the clothes and put it out there in order for them to dry it out. But not towards the people, because people they'll think that perhaps he did laundry, right? They see his clothes like on a clothesline. They think on Shabbos, they think, oh, perhaps the guy did laundry, therefore you can't put it where people will see it. Rather, you can just go ahead and put it in a place where no one will be able to see it. So now, Zak the Gemara says the first part, we mentioned putting a tavshil inside of pit. So Pshita, what will you say there? Maybe to go ahead, maybe he would smoothen out the ground where he puts it down in order to put his pots. So Kamashullah, we're not worried that he can go ahead and put it in uneven ground. He's not going to go ahead and smoothen out. And then we said the next part, you can go ahead and put cold water inside bad water in order to go ahead and chill it, to cool it down, to cool it off. So the Gemara says, Pshita, it's obvious. So the Gemara says, no, safety strictly. The reason why we had to putting the warm into cold is because we also wanted to mention the cold into the warm. And why? What is the chiddush there? Isn't also putting cold into warm water isn't also obvious? You're not cooking it, right? So what would be the issue there? It's not going to get cooked. It's not going to be boiling, right? The only issue is to boil on Shabbos. So it says no. It's maybe over here. Person he's allowed to go ahead and heat up or warm up something with water that's heated up by the sun. Maybe he also might go ahead and maybe smolder in ashes or do something in order to create heat. Kamash Balon. We're not worried about that. If something is heated, the source is the sun, we're not worried he's going to go ahead and make a fire. And person who got soaked, when he gets to an area, right, where he can take off, he's allowed to go ahead and take off and put the clothes down, and then and lie it out in order that it dries off in the sun. And Amar Rav Yehuda Marav Kol Makom Shasu Chachamim Bnei Marasayin Afilu B'Chadri Chadarim Aser. Anytime, anything that's aser because of Marasayin, if people view you doing something which is forbidden, and they might assume that you're doing something which is wrong, or they might learn from you and think that it's permitted. You can't even do it, even the privacy of your own home, where no one will see. So in other words, something which is usher because of marasayin is usher everywhere, even with no one's going to see you. So tonight we learn in the Mishnah. So let's look at our Mishnah, right? Let's look at Rav Yehuda's statement and compare that to our Mishnah. Our Mishnah says the person his clothing are soaked from the from where to travel, fell in the water, whatever it was. When he gets to place, he can put it out. He can put the clothes on the clothesline just so that people won't see. So our Mishnah disagrees. Our Mishnah appears to say you can do it in an area, the outside area, where no one will see. in other words, that's comparable to b'chadrei chadarim in your privacy of your own home because no one's going to see. So our answer is tonight. It's actually machlokes tonight. Did tonight learn the rice. So it says the Tanakama, which is with our Mishnah, you can go ahead and pull out and take your clothes and put it, and you can lie them out just as long as nobody sees. You lie your clothes, therefore no one will think that you did laundry on Shabbos. And Rabbi Eliezer, Rabbi Shimon, they say no, it's usher even b'chadrei chadarim because they hold like Rabbi Yehuda Marav that holds that if something is usher because of marasayin, i.e., people think you did laundry, therefore you can't even do it in the privacy. And Amar Rav Huna says, Rav Huna, Hamanayir talisa b'Shabbos chayiv chadus. One who goes ahead and he shakes out his coat right from the dust, right? He cleans off the dust. He's chayiv chadus because he's fixing his coat and he's doing libun, right? He's cleaning it, right? This is a malacha of libun, as Rashi points out. We're only talking about new ones, about batiki, but old ones less than above. Then they don't really get too clean by cleaning it off.
We're just talking about like dust, right? We're not obviously rain you can't do. We're just talking about you can't even just dust it off.
Hamanar Talis and Rashi says mina offer, right, from dust, right? Rashi said dust, and he's basically shaking out his coat from the dust. Mm-hmm. And we're only talking about we only said by black ones about bechiyur v'sumki lesamba. Also, if it's white or red, then it's no problem. Only the black ones, right? Those are problem. And not only that, who the kapitalayu, and then only if the guy really cares. If the guy really cares, in other words, if he doesn't, let's say you go ahead and you clean off the dust, but it doesn't really make a difference for the guy. He'll wear it either way. So then it's not a big deal. But if a person was very makbid, then he would not wear it if it is dirty. And therefore, by fixing it, that's considered laundering because now he's making it wearable. And Ukla Pumadisa, one time Ula was in the Pumadisa, Chazir Rabban the Kam and Naftsi Glamayu, and he saw that they were basically shaking off and cleaning off their coats from the dust. Amar, it appears that the rabbis there being Machal Shabbos. Samalu, Rav Yehuda, and the Futsi lay biapi, you can blow the dust in his face. Analoy Kapdina Mide. We don't really care at all, so therefore they would have worn it either way. They're not really makbid, so therefore it was not an issue of Chil Shabbos. And similarly, Abai Havika, Kami, the Rav Yosef, one time Abai was before Rav Yosef, Amalei Havli Kumtai. Give me this, this hat. Give me your hat. I want to go ahead and put the hat on. Right? So, however, Chazid Ika Talala, he saw that there was dew on it. And Havaka Mischasem Lemisvela. He was basically hesitant to go ahead and give it to him. He didn't want to give it to him because he thought if I have to go ahead, maybe he'll clean it off. And if he'll clean it off, maybe it's Chil Shabbos by cleaning off the dew, similar to cleaning off the dust. So Amalei, Nufetz Shad, you can go ahead and you can blow it off. It doesn't make a difference. The dew, Anan Loik Havdin and Mida. I really don't care at all. So you want to clean off, don't be hesitant, don't worry about me. Right? I would wear dirty hats or hats full of dew or hats full of dust. Doesn't make a difference to me. And Amar Rav Yitzchak Bar Yosef and Rav Yechon Hayotze b'Talis Mechuvelas Menochas Lo HaKaseifa b'Shabbos Chayv Chatas. This person goes into the Rabbin area where one is not allowed to carry, and he's wearing his talis, but he's basically has it folded over his shoulder. Then he is Chayv Chatas for carrying Arba Amos. Right? That's not considered to be wearing it. That's considered to be a masui, right? Carrying something, and therefore it won't be Chayv for that. As opposed to if he was wearing his talis, then it'll be okay. And Tana Melchus learn Seichre Ksus Hayotze b'Talisas Mechuvelas Menochas Lo HaKaseifa b'Shabbos. Sellers of merchants who go ahead and sell different clothing, if they go out with the talis folded on their shoulders on their Shabbos, then they are chayv chatas. Not only people that sell clothes, amru ella kol adam, rather any person. Ella shadarkan shel moichin, let's say it's kach. Rather they just listed them because those are the people that most commonly wear it upon their shoulder without really putting it on. And ella shadarkan shel chamani, let's say it's kach. Exit the line, and the Chanvani, right? The Chanvani Hayayitze b'mos, and also a storekeeper that goes out b'mos at certain basadino. If he has like coins or something that's tied to his garment, then he's chayv chatas, right? Coins, obviously, there's an issue of muksa, but even that, you're not chayv chatas for muksa, but you would be chayv chatas for carrying them. We don't say only a Chanvani, a storekeeper, because he has coins. Not only he's chayiv, rather any person, let's say it's kaf. Rather, it's the way of the Chanvani to go out with, I guess their coins tied to their garments. Vaharatanin, and people from Ratanya, right? As Machlokes as to what Ratanya is. The Shem Malkavas Rashi says Ratanya yaitzim b'sedarin shal kaseifa. They're allowed to go, I guess, with their kerchiefs on their head. They have like a turban that was a little longer. I don't know if it's like the Arab kind or whatever they're called. I don't know. I'm sure Andrew's going to tell me what it's called because I forgot. But anyways, so anyway, the Arab, not the Arab. So anyways, these
Kafia.
Kafia, right?
It was something like that, right? So they can go out with them on their heads, and even though it extends to their shoulders. And not only those people are allowed to go out, and anybody wears these longer turbans that hang down to their shoulders. Let's say it's bekach. Right? It was the way of the Ratinian to go out like this. And Amar Rabbi Yehuda Maisa Behurkanus Benosha Rabbi Eliezer Ben Hurkanus. What type is a Maisa with Hurkanus, the son of Eliezer Ben Hurkanus? Sheyotza Besuder Shak Seifa B'Shabbos. He went out with one of these longer turbans that was that reached to his shoulders on Shabbos. And Ela Shanima Kruchel Betzbo. And he had it tied to his finger because perhaps what happened, the worry is that it might come off. It's a little loose on, and therefore a person might carry it. So that was the reason to Aser. So therefore he basically had it tied to his finger, right? So it's connected to his body. When the matter came from the Chamim, Amru, they said, even if he didn't have it tied to his finger, it still would have been permitted, as we stated earlier, right? That one can wear these turbans on their head, even though they come down to the shoulders. It looks like you're carrying it on the shoulders, but you're not. It's attached to the head. And Darash Rav Nachman bar Rav Chiza Mishmei Rav Chiza halacha afal pi she'nima kruchel abetzvasav. And halacha is even though it's not tied to your finger, nevertheless it was mutter to go out with him. And Ula ikla lebei Asi bar Hini. Ula one time was by the house of Asi bar Hini. So boy, they asked him a question: Ma'u la'asais marzev b'Shabbos? Can one go ahead and make a marzev on Shabbos? Right? Marzev literally means a gutter. We'll soon see. Can you make a gutter out of your clothes? What is it talking about? So Amalu Hachi Amar Rabbi Eli says. You can't go ahead and make a marzev Shabbos. Okay, so what's this marzev? My marzev. So Rab Zera, Kisi Bablisa, right? So it basically these Babylonian pockets. Right? Babylonian pockets, basically there was these pockets, they had longer coats, and they used to fold them over like a permanent fold, and fold them over that they folded them up all the way at the bottom, so they are useful, but B, they were like a permanent fold to the garment, and therefore that was usher to go ahead and make a marzev on Shabbos because it's like you're finishing the beged. And Rabbi Yirmiyah Yosef Kamei Rabbi Zeir Amalei Hachi Mai. So he says, "What can you make a marzev?" So Amalei Aser. He says, "Aser." Hachi Mai. What about to fold it this way? Amalei Aser. He says once again, Aser. And Amar Rav Papa Naked High Kol B'Yadach. Take this rule in your hand. Kol Adaita L'Chluni Aser. Anything that is for the purpose, right, to go ahead and to make it to gather it up. Right, and to have it together in order to be permanent, that is usher. And called the lisano shari. But if it basically just folding it, not necessarily as a permanent, but more to make it look nicer, right? You fold up the cuffs, right? I know when I was a kid in 7th grade, it was cool to French cuff your jeans, right? I don't think it does done anymore. But if you just roll it up temporarily, right, then it's shari. And kihad Rav Shisha B'Rei Ravidi, just like Rav Shisha B'Rei Ravidi, he used to go ahead and misna b'sadino. Right, he used to go ahead and have havi. So he used to go out and have basically. He used to make his coat, nice by folding it up, but it wasn't a temporary gathering of it. Rather, it was just to make it look nicer. And Kiyasa Rav Dimi, when Rav Dimi came, says Amar Pamachas Yatza Rebbe Lusad. At one time, Rebbe went out to a field. And he had basically both of his talisim, the ends of the talisim, sort of folded over his shoulders. And Amar the fun of so seven form Yeshua ben Ziruz ben Chamav shel Rabbi Meir. So he said Rabbi Yeshua ben Ziruz, who was the son of the Rabbi Meir's father-in-law, I guess his brother-in-law, right? So Bazulo Yichir Rabbi Meir, Bazulo Yichir Rabbi Meir Chatas, right? Rabbi Meir not asked for this Chatas. He says you're carrying, right? By putting over your shoulder, it's not the normal way. So therefore, it's considered to be a masui. It's not considered to be a baguette. Summerley, Diktuk Rav Meir ad Khan. So he said, did Rav Meir really, he said to this point? In other words, he said like this, Chayav Chatas. So Shilshah Rabbi Talis was Rabbi took down his talis. And however, here's another version of the story. Kiyasi Rabbi, when Rabbi said, Omar, Lo Yeshua ben Ziros Havi, wasn't Yeshua ben Ziros, Ella Yeshua ben Kusai Havi. Rather, it was Yeshua ben Kusai Havi, and he was Chasna Rabbi Kiva, and he was, I guess, the son-in-law of Rabbi Kiva, and Amar Bezuloi Chayev Rabbi Kiva, and he wasn't said about Rabbi Meir, rather he said it was about Rabbi Kiva. He says, did Rabbi Kiva not ask this? Lo Yichiv Rabbi Kiva Chatas. Amar Lo, he did Rabbi Kiva Khan. Did Rabbi Kiva say this? And Shilshu Rabbi Talis, and then Rabbi took off his talis. And however, there's another change to the story. Kiyaser Rav Shmuel Bar Yehuda Amar Nish Kiyaser Rav Shmuel Bar Yehuda Amar Nishal Itmar. It wasn't that Rebbe himself was the one wearing it. Rather, it was asked to Rebbe, and he said it wasn't a problem. And then the other person was quoted as saying either it was, depends on which version you have, whether Rabbi Kiva answered it or Rabbi Meir answered it. But either way, it was not Rebbe who was wearing the talis. Fine. Now Mishnah. Mishnah says on the bottom of Kufan Zion. So the Mishnah says,
And I Mishnah.
Nine Mishnah. So Haraychetz b'mei ma'ora, one who goes ahead and he washes himself, he bathes, right? He bathes in the water of a cave, who made Tveria, and also the water of Tveria, this hot springs of Tveria. He's stuffing. He goes ahead and he dries himself in a towel. Even he dries himself with 10 different towels. In other words, the towels are not that wet anymore. Lo yaviyam biyadam. He should not go ahead and bring him, or he should not go ahead and carry him. We're talking about a case of where one would be allowed to carry, because he might go ahead and wring it out. So a person is by himself, alone, and a towel, and even if it's not that wet, he should not go ahead and carry it with him, because he might go ahead and wring it out and squeeze it on Shabbos. As we learned earlier, schita, right, to squeeze something out isn't forbidden on Shabbos. 10 people, let's say 10 people share a towel. Right? Some people are sharing a towel, therefore the towel is going to be very wet at the end. Right? Even to go ahead and use it to dry their face, their hands, their feet. They're allowed to go ahead and carry it, because in such a case, since there's other people around, there's a sunsi, that's the chiddush, since there's other people around, so therefore they're not going to go ahead and do schita, because if they're about to go ahead and wring it out, then people will remind them, say, hey, it's Shabbos, you're not allowed to go ahead and wring it out. Okay, so that was the first two halachas, both sort of flip-flop one another. And then the next case, so sakin, so he says, sakin mushashim, a person allowed to go ahead and anoint to put oil on and to mashesh, like to massage, of a loy misamim. But you can't go ahead and do a deep massage on Shabbos, loy misgarin, and you can't go ahead and scrape off with an instrument, because that's considered to be an uvda dechol. That's considered to be the mundane manner, one that does during the week. And ein yordin le kordima, one is not allowed to go into the Kordima river. We'll soon see why. Ve'enoisin afikituzin. Person can't go ahead and take something that will cause him to go ahead and throw up. You know, do that on Shabbos. We'll soon see, he can't even do the week. Ve'in masmis a cotton. He can't go ahead and basically fix the bones of a newborn. Right, ma'atzvin as a cotton, vein machzin as a shever. You can't go ahead and also return a broken bone. We'll have to explain that in terms of pain, or but you can't go ahead and return a broken bone. Misha nifro yado v'raglo, person, let's say he dislocated his hand or his leg. Lo yitrefim b'tzoni, and I guess one who goes ahead and I guess bathes in water sort of helps it go back into its place. So and you can't go ahead and do it in cold water, I guess, would directly cause it. But if you watch it naturally, if it goes back, then it goes back. So you can't actively go ahead and do it. All these cases are issues of doing medicine on Shabbos, and one we know is forbidden unless it's a case of obviously sakanas nefashos, or even suffix sakanas nefashos. One is allowed to go ahead and do it. But if it's not a case of sakanas nefashos, then it won't be forbidden, because then one might come to crush different herbs on Shabbos, and that would be chai v'chatas. So let's see the Gemara. Zok the Gemara. So Ketani, it says 2 lines on the bottom. So it says over there, water from a cave, similar to water from Tveria. So ma made Tveria cham, and just like the waters of Tveria are hot waters, so too must be the water from the caves. We're talking about they're hot, and it says haroichetz, one who went and took a bath. Doesn't sound like one is allowed to go ahead and take a bath. It sounds like one who violated and went to take a bath. So we say over there, so haroichetz, so diavidi l'chadchila lo, sounds like only the diavidi did it. L'chadchila, he shouldn't go ahead and take a hot bath on Shabbos. Mechlal, so you infer from here, right? To go ahead and basically take a shower, right? To take a shower, right? His entire body, even the chachila, would be mutter to do. It's only because taking a bath is b'diavad, but to go ahead and use rinse, and pour water on him, i.e., like a shower, that would be mutter. So, Mani, whose opinion is this? This is Rabbi Shimon. This is Rabbi Shimon in a machlekasi. The tiny within the brayso, so leishtati v'adam bein b'cham ben sani. The Rameir says Rameir, person not go ahead and pour water on him, i.e., take a shower, whether hot or cold. There's been a Rameir. Rabbi Shimon matir. Rabbi Shimon says mutter to use hot and cold. Hot or cold, and Rabbi Yehuda Omer b'cham and aser but sign mutter. Rabbi Yehuda says no, hot water is us to pour water and take a shower, but cold would be mutter. So therefore, our Mishnah, which appears to say that if it was a shower l'chadchila, you can do it even hot, that would be according to the opinion of Rabbi Shimon. And then we said, a feel best, aluntia is a person who dries himself even with 10 towels, even the 10th one, which is barely wet. The person allowed to go ahead and handle it because he might go ahead and wring it out. So Reisha Rabusa Kamashwan, the Sefer Rabusa Kamashwan. So the Reisha is a Chiddush and the Sefer is a Chiddush. Reish, Rebusa Kamash Below, and the Reish is coming to teach us something extra. Why? Even though there's very little water, since it's one person, he might forget, it might do schita, and therefore he's not allowed to go ahead. If it's one person, can't go ahead and handle the towel. And the seifa, and in the seifa, Rabusa Kamashon is also a chiddush. Why? Even though this one has a lot of water, because 10 people use the same towel and ziffer, it might be soaking at the end. Even the Rabbi Ninu, since as many people meet Kari Adadi, they'll remind one another to say, hey, you can't go ahead and squeeze on Shabbos, Chilul Shabbos. Fine. Tana Rabban. Mistafik Adam Lutas, Amanicha Becholoin, Veloy Yimserenu Lunyar. A person, he goes to a bathhouse, he's allowed to go ahead and basically dry himself off and take his towel and basically hang it in the window. However, you shouldn't go ahead and give it to the bath attendant, who were not that frum and scrupulous in Shomer Shabbos, and we would be worried that they would just go ahead and wring it out and give it to the next person. So therefore, we don't go ahead and allow and give it to them on Shabbos. And Rabbi Shimon, actually, Rabbi Shimon argued with our Mishnah. He says, no, you're allowed to use one towel, and you can even bring it home with you. We're not worried a person's going to handle it. Obviously, when we say carry it home with you is a place when you're allowed to go ahead and carry, and we're not worried that you're going to go ahead and wring it out. And Amar Le Abayla Rav Yosef says, Abayla Rav Yosef, Hilchasamai, what is the halacha? Right? Our Mishnah seems to say you can't go ahead and carry it, even if it's not, even if it's barely wet. And Rabbi Shimon over here just paskin that says even if it's very wet, you can handle it. So what is the halacha? Amar Le, Ha Rabbi Shimon, Ha Rebbe, Ha Shmuel, Ha Rabbi Yochanan. We have many shitas that actually hold that it's mutter. Rabbi Shimon, Rebbe, Shmuel, Rabbi Yochanan. And therefore, since they all agree that it's mutter, l'chayra, it would be mutter to go ahead and do. So Rabbi Shimon Hadam, Rabbi Shimon is the case which we just said, and which he permitted. And what about Rebbe? What was the case of Rebbe? The tiny learner by some Rebbe Kshayinu Lameidim Torah. So Rabbi Shimon B'Tkua. When we were learning Torah by Rabbi Shimon B'Tkua, Haynu Malin Shemin Veluntius Mechatzi. The guy we used to go ahead and bring oil for our bathing, and obviously if we would bathe, we would bring a towel with us and back. So we bring oil, right? We would bring an oil and towel from the chutzah to the roof, from the gag l'karfe, from the gag out to the field, until we get to the spring, and we would anoint there and wash there. They used to go ahead and use it to bathe there. So you see over there, they used to go ahead and bring a towel and then bring it back. So obviously he holds, the Rebbe would hold that you're allowed to go ahead and bring a towel back, even though it's wet. And Shmuel, where was the case of Shmuel? The Rav Yehuda said the name of Shmuel Mistafik Adam Aluntis a person allowed to go ahead and bathe with one towel and bring it back with him to his house. And Rabbi Yechon, and what was the case of Rabbi Yechon? Rabbi Yechon, halacha mistafik. Halacha is mistafik Adam Aluntis. A person has to go ahead and dry himself off with a towel and bring it back to his home. Umi Amar Rabbi Yechon and Hachi. The Rabbi Yechon actually agreed to this. Rabbi Yechon, halacha kestam mishnah. Halacha is like a stam mishnah. But Tanan says in our Mishnah, right? A person goes ahead and bathes, and even with 10 towels, it's not so damp. He should not go ahead and bring it back in his hand. So you see over there, our Stam Mishnah goes against this, and Rabbi Yechon usually passes like a Stam Mishnah. So Gemara answers, no, hahu keben chachnai masnila. That actually wasn't a Stam Mishnah. Rather, it was told to be Ben Chachinai. He was a Tana of our Mishnah. Therefore, it's not a Stam Mishnah. Stam Mishnah means we don't know which rabbi was the one who said it. We don't know which Tana was the one who was the author of the Mishnah. But no, there are reports that the Tana of the Mishnah was Ben Chachinai. Therefore, it's not considered to be a Stam Mishnah. And therefore, it would be, it's not a Stam Mishnah. Therefore, Rabbi Yechon would not paskin like the Stam Mishnah. And Amar Rabbi Chibar Rabbi Yechanan, Halunin Mavina Balri Nashim Lebei Bani. So the bath attendants are allowed to go ahead and bring, I guess, the towels to the women to the bathhouse with vachis. Kind of a hen reishan ruban, as long as when they wear it, right? When they go ahead and they carry it out in the rabbim, they sort of wear the towels like clothing, and therefore it's not considered to be carrying something on your shoulder. Rather, they're wearing the towels. And sakinasa. And when it comes to this sakinasa, right, which is a type of also similar to what we had earlier, something that was worn on the head. You should go ahead and basically tie the two ends underneath. And what does it mean underneath? Right, underneath the shoulders. In other words, I guess it was a long type of turban on the head. Right, and therefore he tied on the bottom, therefore it won't come off and won't go ahead and carry it. And Amar Lahu Rava Lebnei Mechuza. So Rava said those in Mechuza. Kimavisa Mani Lebani Chila Sharisu Behel Lamata Meksafain. Right, when they go ahead and they bring the towels, right? The bath attendants bring the towels. Make sure that they go ahead and they tie them below the shoulders in order that it's not carrying and in order that it will not come off. Fine. Two dots. The next case in the mission was Sakin. Sachin, a person allowed to go ahead and do sicha. He's allowed to go ahead and smear the oil on him, shashing and massage it. Says, "Tanrabban sach v'shashim b'nei b'nei b'Shabbos uvash le'isach kadershu isabachol." Right, person go ahead and put oil on and massage as long as he doesn't do it during the day of the week. So how does it mean? Hey, so how should you go ahead and do it? What's considered this? Shinois or b'chama b'rachinin amar sach. First, go ahead and put the oil on, and then go ahead and give the massage. And Rabbi Yechon Omar Sach Mashash Bivasachas. Rabbi Yechon said you can do it at the same time because I guess during the week it would be done. First they would give the massage, then put the oil on afterwards. So over here, as long as you don't do it that way, you change it differently. You do them together, or first you do the oil and then you do the massage. That would be okay. Avaloi misalman. We said over there you should not go ahead and misalman. You shouldn't go ahead and give a very hard, I guess, a strong massage. And because it's therapeutic, and therapeutic was like giving medicine. Giving medicine won't become to crush. And Amr Rabbi Chia bar Abba, Rabbi Yechon also lamod bekarkasel shel demusis mipnei shemelas merape. One is not forbidden to go ahead and stand on the ground of the Demusis River. It was a very therapeutic river, I guess, from the dirt and the whatever was in the water, because it would heal the person. So Amar Rabbi Yehuda Amar Rav, Kol Yemei Shel Demusis Esrim V'Echad Yom. All the days, the therapeutic days of this river was actually only 21 days in the year. Ve'atzeres Min Haminyan, and Shavuos is one of the days that was included in it. So the question was asked, Yatzeres Lahagisa. So he says, and Shavuos was part of it. In other words, Shavuos was either the beginning of it or the end of it. It was included in it. So which one was it? Was Shavuos the first day, then it went into the summer, or basically did it start for like in the spring and goes up to Shavuos? So Tashmak, listen, Damar Shmuel. So says Shmuel, Ku Shakaini Midivcha V'Yadat Sarasa Mel. So we learned earlier, we said over there that these different types of drinks, right? They're all the best, right? From Divcha, from Pesach until Shavuos, right? So a certain type of drinks they used to drink for therapeutic purposes, right? Which one is not allowed to do on Shabbos, right? And if it's not apparent that you're just drinking for a drink as opposed to you're drinking for therapy. So they used to go from Pesach until Shavuos. So what do you see over here? So you see sort of the Shavuos is at the end of the therapeutic time. So Gemara says no. Dilma who the Kama the Karir Alma Mali. Maybe over there is different, and the spring was still cool, so maybe was better with those drinks. But over here, when it comes to the waters of this river, Mishum Hebla who the Cave and the Chamim Alma Tfei Mali. So maybe over here that by the fact maybe it's heated, right? Maybe the hot water is even better. So therefore, maybe the Shavuos is actually the beginning because you want more of a hot or warm water in order to be more therapeutic. And Amar Rabbi Chalbo says Rabbi Chalbo Chamra Dipragaisa Omaya Dimeses, the wine from Pergisa and the water of this river of Dimeses Kivchu Aseres Hashvatim Yisrael. That basically caused the 10 Shvatim to leave Bnei Yisrael. In other words, the people were so intoxicated with this wine and with this therapeutic bathing that they forgot the Torah. And Rabbi Elazar ben Arach, what we see, Rabbi Elazar ben Arach, he was over there. Imshech Basrayu, he partook of both of them. And Yakar Talmud, then he basically forgot his teachings. When he came back, also he went ahead, he took out Torah. So boy, he wanted to go ahead and read the pasuk from Parshas Bo. Read the first mitzvah given to Bnei Yisrael, and Amar Hacheresh Haya Liba. Right? He read it wrong. He couldn't read it. He said Hacheresh. Right? The mute is their hearts. And so the Rabbanan saw that he basically couldn't even read a pasuk from all this, partaking of the wine and the therapy sessions. Right, so the Rabbanan, I guess, they daven for him, and his limud, his Torah returned to him. Behind it, as we learn in the Mishnah, Rabbi Norai Aimer, it says over there in Perkei Avos, I believe, in Perkei Avos, it says Rabbi Norai Aimer, have a geilah l'makom Torah, you should go ahead and exile yourself to a place of Torah. Don't say the Torah is going to follow you. Because your friends will keep the Torah in your hand. Don't rely on your own wisdom. So you see that he didn't rely. His friends were the ones who basically returned Torah to him. And Tana, and it was taught Loi Reb Nerai Shema. His name is not Reb Shema. Ela Reb Nechemia Shema. His name is really Reb Nechemia. V'amri, some says Rabbi Elazar ben Arach Shema. Some says Rabbi Elazar ben Arach Shema. V'lamanika Shema Rabbi Nerai. Why do they call him Rabbi Nerai? Shemanahir Einai Chaim b'Halacha, because he used to go and enlighten and show the eyes of Chamim the halacha. So he was very wise and would show them halacha. Fine. Two dots. A person not go ahead and scrape your skin on Shabbos. You can't go ahead and use a comb that was used specifically for scraping skin on Shabbos. If a person, however, his legs were dirty from dirt or excrement, then you go ahead and scrape it off the normal way. We're not worried that it's therapeutic, that's similar to giving medication, it's fine. Rav Shmuel Bar Yehuda of the La'ema Megraisa the Kisva. Rav Shmuel Bar Yehuda, his mother made for him a silver scraper. And a Yordan, the Kordima, one's not let go ahead to the Kordima River. My time was reason because a person is slippery. A person is slippery. He might fall in this river. I guess there was maybe stone on the bottom of the river, and therefore it was dangerous. The Shabbos person can't go ahead and cause himself to throw up on Shabbos. Only we're talking about taking herbs or eating something that will cause you to throw up. But to go ahead and use your finger or your hand, mutter, then it's mutter, go ahead and make yourself throw up. However, Tanya, we learn in Bryce, even during the week, because the loss of food. And then finally, you can't go ahead and fix a cotton. You can't go ahead and basically straighten his limbs after he's born. You actually can go ahead and swaddle a baby after he's born. His mutter. Our mission says you can't go ahead and set the bone straight. So over there, that's to straighten the spine, which looks like bina. But just to swaddle the baby, that would be permitted. All right, we'll stop here. Everyone should have a wonderful Shabbos, and we'll pick up on Sunday, Mirz Hashem, at 7 o'clock. We'll do 2
Shkaya.